Facing death at human hands, an Alpha King was spared when an unseen bond changed everything. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let us return to Lily Hart. Night settled over the Northwood border like a slow-falling curtain, soft and silver around the treetops. Lily moved quietly along the narrow trail, the cool air brushing her cheeks and carrying the scent of pine and river stone. She had slipped away from the village to clear her head, telling herself the walk would ease the tight knot that had sat behind her ribs all day. But as soon as she stepped deeper into the woods, she knew something was wrong. The forest felt too still, too watchful, as if holding its breath. Her heart picked up a soft, nervous flutter as she followed a faint glow flickering between the trees. She thought it was a lantern, maybe someone from the search party looking for stray livestock. But the closer she crept, the more it looked like firelight. Voices drifted through the trees, muffled but sharp with tension. Lily froze, staying hidden behind a fallen log. She could make out the silhouettes of humans, hunters, standing around a shape on the ground. She couldn't see clearly, only the outline of something large curled in on itself. She didn't hear threats or see anyone raising weapons. Instead, she caught phrases like still breathing and too rare to abandon. Their tone wasn't cruel, only uncertain, as if they didn't know what to do with what they'd found. Lily's pulse hammered. She was torn between fear and something deeper, an instinct she couldn't name, a pull low in her chest urging her forward. When the hunters finally lifted their lantern and walked away, their murmurs fading down the trail, the glow disappeared with them. The forest dimmed back into moonlight. Lily rose slowly. Her breath caught when she saw him. A massive black wolf lay in the clearing, chest rising in shallow, uneven breaths. Not injured, just exhausted, as though he had run too far. For too long. His dark coat shimmered faintly under the moon. His eyes were closed, his body still, but she could sense the power in him, quiet but unmistakable. Something drew her closer, a warmth blooming beneath her sternum, spreading like a whisper through her bones. She didn't understand it, but she didn't step away. Instead, she knelt, letting her hand hover above his fur. "You're not here to hurt me," she murmured softly, unsure where the certainty came from. The moment her palm touched his coat, a gentle pulse of heat stirred under her skin, like the glow of embers coming back to life. The wolf's breathing steadied, his presence settling into the space between them as if recognizing her. Lily's breath trembled. What was that? The answer came not from the wolf, but from the darkness beyond the clearing, a voice warm and steady, stepping into moonlight. "An unseen bond," it said, "and it chose you first." The voice that emerged from the darkness made Lily's breath catch, warm yet steady in a way that felt impossibly familiar. She turned slowly, her pulse quickening as a tall figure stepped into the soft glow of moonlight filtering through the branches. He moved with a quiet confidence, the kind that spoke of authority rather than intimidation, his presence settling the air around them instead of disturbing it. Lily glanced back at the wolf, still resting with slow, even breaths, then returned her gaze to the stranger. "Who are you?" she whispered, her voice barely above a breath. The man stopped a respectful distance away, his hands visible, offering no sense of threat. "A friend," he said gently, "and someone who has been searching for him for a long time." Lily looked at the wolf again, unable to understand why the air around them still hummed with that soft, invisible pull. He is not dangerous?" "Not to you," the man replied, his tone certain in a way that sent a shiver through her. "You stepped toward him when others stepped away. That tells me everything I need to know." She did not know what to say to that. Her hands were still warm from touching the wolf's fur, a sensation that had not faded but continued to pulse softly beneath her skin. "I felt something," she admitted. "Like a light. I have never felt anything like that. I did not mean to cause harm. I only wanted to help him." "You did," the man assured her. "More than you realize." Lily shifted, unsure. "You talk as if you know him." The man's eyes softened. "I do. But there are things he must tell you himself." Lily blinked, standing slowly. He is just a wolf. The man held her gaze, calm and steady. He is more than that. Before she could question him further, the wolf's ears twitched. His breathing deepened, no longer labored. Slowly, he lifted his head, and when his eyes opened, Lily felt her heart stutter. They were the same shade of silver she had glimpsed in the man's eyes, a quiet, ancient silver that caught the moonlight. The wolf's gaze settled on Lily first, not on the man, and something in the air stirred again, warm and grounding. Lily felt it in her chest, a subtle pull, as if the forest itself exhaled around them. The man stepped aside, not intruding, as if giving the wolf space to approach. The great creature moved carefully, not with power but with intention, lowering his head slightly, as if asking permission to come closer. Lily did not step back. She felt no fear, only a strange, unspoken recognition that made her breath grow shallow. "You are safe," she whispered, barely aware she had spoken aloud. The wolf blinked slowly, as if acknowledging her words. Then the man spoke again, his voice low, almost reverent. "He heard you long before you touched him," he said. "That is why he lived long enough for you to find him." Lily stared between them, confusion and wonder folding together. "Why me?" The man gave a small, knowing smile. "Because sometimes the quietest heart is the one destiny hears first." The forest around them stood still, as if listening, waiting for whatever would come next. For a moment, the forest felt suspended in time. The cool night air holding Lily, the silver-eyed wolf, and the quiet man in a stillness that ran deeper than silence. Lily's pulse fluttered as she watched the wolf shift his weight, rising slowly to his feet. Even in the soft glow of the moon, he seemed steadier than before, as if the weakness she had sensed earlier was fading with every breath he took in her presence. His eyes remained on her, calm and focused, carrying something she could not explain yet somehow understood. She felt that same warmth in her chest again, the gentle pull that had first sparked beneath her palm. She found herself leaning slightly forward, drawn to him without realizing she had moved at all. The man observed them quietly, not interfering, not guiding. It was as if he knew this moment belonged to them alone. When Lily finally spoke, her voice came out softer than she intended. "What does he want?" The man shook his head lightly. "He is not asking for anything. He is listening." Confusion tugged at her. "To what?" "To you," the man answered, as if it were the simplest truth in the world. Lily looked back at the wolf, and her breath caught when he stepped toward her, slow and careful, his paws silent on the forest floor. He stopped just close enough that she could feel the warmth radiating from his coat. For a heartbeat she wondered if she should step back. Instead, she stood still, letting the moment settle around them. The wolf lowered his head slightly, not in submission but in acknowledgement, an unspoken gesture that made her chest tighten unexpectedly. "Is he thanking me?" she asked. The man's gaze softened. "In his way." Lily exhaled slowly. "I have never seen a wolf like him." "There is no other like him," the man said gently. "His place in this world is complicated, and so is yours." Lily blinked, startled by the sudden shift in his tone. "Mine? I am nobody special." "That is what you were told," the man replied. "But that does not make it true." Lily looked down, unsure what to do with the strange swirl of emotions rising inside her. She had spent so much of her life being overlooked that the idea of being seen, truly seen, unsettled her more than she expected. The wolf shifted again, drawing her attention. This time when he moved, his steps were more confident, carrying an almost regal steadiness. When he reached her side, he brushed his head lightly against her hand, not forcing the touch, only offering it. Lily's breath hitched. The warmth under her skin flared again, gentle but unmistakable, like a quiet echo meeting its source. The man watched their connection with a thoughtful calm. "He is choosing to trust you," he said. "Trust is rare for him, and what happened tonight is even rarer." Lily swallowed. "What exactly happened?" "Something that was not supposed to be possible," the man said softly. "A bond that should have remained hidden chose to reveal itself to you first." She felt the wolf's steady presence beside her, strong and quiet as the night. "Why?" she whispered. "Because," the man replied, "destiny has a way of finding the people who least expect it." The forest seemed to hum in agreement as the wolf remained close, and Lily realized she no longer felt alone in the dark. Something had changed. Something she did not yet understand, but could no longer deny. The night air felt gentler now, as if the forest itself had settled around Lily and the great black wolf at her side. The quiet man remained a few steps away, watching her with a patience that felt almost protective, though she did not know why. Lily smoothed her hand over her skirt, trying to gather her thoughts, but the warmth in her chest kept pulsing softly, like a steady echo of the moment she had touched the wolf's fur. "If this bond is real," she said quietly, "what does it mean?" The man met her gaze. "It means your lives are no longer moving on separate paths." That answer sent a flutter through her stomach, not frightening, but heavy with something she could not name. She looked at the wolf again. His silver eyes had not left her, watching her with an awareness that made her heart beat faster. "I should go back," Lily murmured, though even she could hear the uncertainty in her voice. "My village will wonder where I am." The man's expression shifted, not unkind but knowing. "They do not value your presence enough to notice your absence quickly." Lily stiffened slightly at the truth of it. Most nights she slipped in and out without anyone caring. Still, she hesitated. "I do not want trouble." "Neither does he," the man replied. "He does not wish to frighten your people. But he cannot remain here." Lily glanced around the clearing. "Are there more hunters?" "There are always hunters," the man said softly. "But they were not the threat tonight." She frowned, unsure what he meant. Before she could ask, the wolf stepped closer, brushing his side gently against her leg. The warmth of him startled her. He felt solid and steady, as if anchoring her in place. She touched his shoulder lightly, and the hum beneath her skin returned, softer now but unmistakable. The man watched the exchange with quiet significance. "He is asking you to trust him." Lily's breath caught. "He cannot ask anything. He cannot speak." The man's gaze warmed. "Not with words, no, but some truths do not need language." The forest rustled gently, night wind brushing through the leaves like a whispered reminder to choose carefully. Lily looked down at the wolf, at the way he waited without pressure, offering closeness but not demanding it. She had never been offered such silent regard before. "If I go with him," Lily asked slowly, "will I be safe?" The man nodded once. "With him, yes." She swallowed. "And what about you? Who are you to him?" "Someone who serves him," the man said. "Someone who respects him." Something about the way he said it made her heart skip. She looked at the wolf again. "Where would he take me?" "Away from here," the man answered. "Away from those who do not see your worth." The words landed somewhere tender inside her. She had spent years trying to shrink herself, to avoid drawing the wrong kind of attention, to keep her head down the way she was told. But here, in the stillness of the woods, standing beside a creature who radiated strength without a hint of danger toward her, she felt something she had not felt in a long time. Wanted, not for what she could do, or for what she failed to be, but simply for the quiet truth of who she was. The wolf lowered his head, waiting. Lily inhaled slowly, feeling the air settle in her lungs with surprising clarity. "All right," she whispered. "I will trust him." The man exhaled as if he had been waiting for those words. The wolf stepped closer, gently nudging her hand with a warm, steady touch. And for the first time in years, Lily felt the path ahead shift beneath her feet, not closing in but opening wide, as if destiny itself had finally turned to meet her. The forest path stretched ahead in a soft ribbon of moonlit silver, and Lily stayed close beside the great black wolf as they began to move. His steps were unhurried, almost careful, as if he matched her pace on purpose. The quiet man followed a few yards behind, giving them space but never drifting far. The air carried a faint chill, wrapping around Lily's arms and lifting the small hairs along her skin. She did not feel afraid. The wolf's quiet presence, steady and warm, eased the unease that normally lingered whenever she walked the woods alone at night. After several minutes, she glanced down at him. "Do you know where you are taking me?" she asked softly, feeling slightly foolish for speaking to someone who could not answer. Yet the wolf lifted his head, meeting her eyes with an awareness that made the question feel less strange. The man behind them responded instead. "There is a resting place not far from here. It is safer than staying near the village or the hunting trails." Lily nodded, grateful for the guidance. The farther they walked, the more she realized how exhausted she had been before tonight. The constant strain of her village's dismissive stares, the quiet isolation she carried like a weight on her shoulders, all felt distant now, softened by the steady presence at her side. When the trees parted, They stepped into a small clearing shaped like a natural cradle of stone and old roots. The moonlight pooled gently across the ground, turning the earth pale and peaceful. The wolf walked straight to the center, lowering himself onto the soft moss in a slow, deliberate motion. Lily watched him settle, and for the first time she noticed a faint tremor ripple through his flank. It was not pain, but something quieter, like fatigue pulling at him after holding his strength together for too long. Concern tightened her chest. She moved closer, kneeling beside him. "Are you all right?" she whispered. The wolf blinked, and something in his gaze seemed to soften. The man approached then, stopping at a respectful distance. "He used a great deal of energy tonight," he said gently. "The bond you felt helped steady him, but he still needs time to recover fully." Lily placed her hand lightly on the wolf's shoulder, not pressing, only resting her palm in a gentle offering. Warmth pulsed beneath her skin again, slow and calm like a deep breath settling through her body. The wolf relaxed under her touch, his breathing evening out. The man watched her with a thoughtful expression. "You have a calming presence," he said. Not many could ease him simply by being near. Lily felt heat rise in her cheeks. "I am just me." "Exactly," the man replied. "That is what he responds to." Lily looked down at the wolf again, her fingers brushing the edge of his coat. "Does he have a name?" she asked. The man hesitated only a moment. "Aiden." The name settled into the quiet, clearing like a soft echo. Lily whispered it once under her breath, and the wolf's ear twitched as if in acknowledgement. "Aiden," she repeated gently. "You saved him tonight," the man added. "More than you know." Lily shook her head. "I only found him. I only touched him." "Sometimes," the man said, "that is exactly what destiny waits for." The breeze shifted, carrying the faint scent of pine and river moss. Lily stayed there beside Aiden, her hand resting gently on his warm fur, realizing that the world she thought she knew had quietly changed the moment she stepped into the clearing. And nothing about the night felt accidental anymore. The clearing felt softer as the night deepened, the moon climbing higher and brushing pale light across Aiden's resting form. Lily stayed beside him, her hand still resting gently on his warm coat, the quiet man lingering at the edge of the space as if guarding the moment. The world felt slowed, not in a heavy way, but like time itself was giving them room to breathe. After several minutes, Lily glanced toward the man. "Will he stay like this all night?" she asked softly. The man folded his hands behind his back. "He will shift when he is ready." The bond you awakened steadied him, but he must choose the moment to reveal himself. Lily looked down at Aiden again. His breathing was steady now, deep and peaceful, as if the earth beneath him recognized him and welcomed him home. "He trusted me," she murmured more to herself than anyone else. "I do not know why." The man's voice held quiet certainty. "Aiden sees beyond appearances. He feels intention, truth, spirit. When you touched him, he felt no fear, no judgment, no expectation. Only sincerity." Lily's throat tightened slightly. "People in my village do not see me that way." "They do not see you at all," the man corrected gently. "That is different." Lily looked down, brushing her fingers lightly across Aiden's fur. The warmth beneath her palm responded once more, soft as a breath, grounding her in a way she did not understand but did not resist. "How long have you known him?" she asked, glancing back at the man. "Long enough to know that trust is sacred to him," he answered, "and long enough to know he does not give it lightly." Lily hesitated. "Is he important?" The man's lips curved in a small, almost knowing smile. "Yes, more than you can imagine." She traced a circle on Aiden's fur without thinking, her voice quiet. "I do not want to make mistakes." "Your heart already knows what to do," the man said. "It guided you tonight." A soft sigh rumbled through Aiden's chest then, gentle and warm, as if responding to their words. Lily's breath caught as his form shifted slightly, light shimmering faintly across his fur. It was subtle, not a full transformation, only a whisper of movement beneath the surface, like something inside him preparing to rise. The man stepped forward a single pace, respectful but alert. "He is awakening." Lily leaned closer, her hand still steady on his coat. "Aiden," she whispered. The wolf's silver eyes opened, brighter now, reflecting her face in their soft light. He lifted his head, not with the exhaustion she had seen earlier, but with a calm strength returning to him. Slowly, he pressed his forehead against her arm, a gesture so gentle and deliberate that Lily felt her breath falter. "He knows you," the man said quietly, "even though you do not yet know him." Lily swallowed, emotion tightening her chest. "What happens now?" The man looked between them before answering. "He will stand, and when he does, he will decide whether to remain in this form or meet you as the man he truly is." Lily's heart thudded softly, not with fear but anticipation. Aiden shifted again, slow and steady, gathering strength. The air around them seemed to change, warming like the first moment of sunrise. And Lily realized she was not waiting for the forest to reveal its secrets. She was waiting for him. The air in the clearing shifted, no longer cool but touched with a quiet warmth that seemed to rise from the ground itself. Lily kept her hand on Aiden's fur, steady but light, feeling each calm breath ripple beneath her fingertips. His form glimmered again, not with brightness but with a subtle shimmer like moonlight sliding across water. She did not pull away. Something in her heart whispered that she was not meant to look away now. The quiet man stepped a little closer, his posture respectful but watchful. "He is gathering strength," he said, voice low so it would not disturb the moment. "The bond you awakened is guiding him back." Lily swallowed softly. Back from what? The man's expression held an understanding she could not yet reach. From a place he would not have returned from alone. She looked back down at Aiden, her voice nearly a whisper. "I was just there at the right time." "You were there," the man said gently, "because fate placed you there." Aiden shifted then, slow but purposeful, lifting himself onto his front paws. His muscles tensed briefly beneath her hand, not with strain but with gathering presence. His silver eyes opened fully, bright and clear, studying her with a depth that made her breath catch. He stood, not abruptly, not dramatically, but with a smooth, quiet grace that felt deliberate and controlled. The man stepped back as if giving him space to choose. Lily rose slowly with him, her fingers brushing his fur one last time before falling softly at her side. A faint breeze stirred through the clearing, lifting a strand of her hair and brushing it gently across her cheek. Aiden looked at her, holding her gaze in a way no ordinary wolf ever could. The hum inside her chest deepened. Then the change began, not with sudden movement or sound, but with a soft glow that rippled across his form like the shimmer of morning light. Lily's breath tightened as the shape before her shifted, the lines of the wolf blurring gently, reforming with a quiet fluidity that held no sharpness, only grace. When the glow faded, a man stood where the wolf had been. Tall, steady, and undeniably real. His hair was a deep black that caught the moonlight in subtle blue undertones, falling slightly across his forehead. His eyes were the same silver she had seen in the wolf, familiar and intent, watching her with a quiet intensity. He wore simple dark clothing, as if prepared for travel, but something in the way he carried himself made the night seem smaller around him. The clearing felt still, almost reverent. Lily did not breathe at first. The warmth she had felt through their bond pulsed in her chest, steady and unmistakable. The man who had been the wolf spoke, his voice a low, gentle timbre that felt like it carried the echo of the forest itself. "Lily." The sound of her name on his lips made her heart stumble, soft and unsteady. "You knew me?" she whispered. "Before I knew you, I felt you," he said, his gaze never wavering. "Even before you stepped into the clearing." She blinked, struggling to process the truth in his voice. "Why me?" Aiden stepped closer, not imposing, only closing the space with a quiet certainty that felt strangely safe. "Because something inside you called to something inside me," he said. "Something neither of us can ignore." The breeze brushed between them, carrying the soft scent of pine, night air, and something warm she could not name. Lily felt the world shift again, but this time she did not feel unsteady. Aiden stood before her, no longer only a wolf, no longer hidden by exhaustion or distance. He was simply himself, and for the first time, she realized this moment was not the beginning of something impossible. It was the beginning of something inevitable. For a long moment Lily could only stare at Aiden, her breath soft and uneven as she tried to understand the quiet certainty in his silver eyes. The clearing seemed to hold its breath with her, the moonlight painting gentle highlights across his dark hair and steady features. He felt both familiar and new, as if she had met him 1,000 times in dreams but never once in the waking world. Aiden took a small step closer, careful and intentional, leaving plenty of space for her to retreat if she wished. She did not. Her heart beat with a quiet intensity, not fear, but an emotion she could not yet name. "I should explain," he said gently, his voice carrying a warmth that wrapped around her like a soft blanket. "You deserve to know what happened tonight." Lily nodded, her fingers curling slightly at her sides. "The bond," she murmured. "You and I, what is it?" Aiden searched her face, as if making sure she was ready before offering the truth. "There is an ancient connection in our kind," he said, "a thread that ties one soul to another. It does not appear often, and it never appears without purpose." Lily felt a quiet tremor ripple through her chest. "You think that is what happened?" "I do not think," Aiden said softly. "I know." She looked away briefly, overwhelmed by the weight of his certainty. The quiet man who had accompanied them stepped forward then, standing where the moonlight touched only the edge of his boots. His voice was respectful. "Aiden has felt the bond for months. He sensed it long before he knew where it was leading him." Lily turned back to Aiden, her brow furrowing. "Months?" "Yes," he answered. "There were moments, flashes of warmth, instinct, direction, as if something in the world was calling me somewhere safe." Lily's voice grew small. "Calling you here?" Aiden nodded once. "Calling me to you." Her breath caught. No one had ever spoken about her with such quiet meaning before. "But I am nothing special," she whispered. "I am an omega. People barely notice when I walk into a room." Aiden's expression changed, not with anger, but with something fierce and gentle at the same time. "Those who failed to see your worth speak only of their own blindness," he said. "Not yours." Lily's eyes stung unexpectedly, but she blinked the feeling away. "If what you say is true, why would this bond choose someone like me?" Aiden stepped a little closer, only a handful of inches now separating them. He lifted his hand, but paused before touching her, giving her the choice. When she did not step back, he gently brushed a loose strand of her hair behind her ear. The touch was soft, respectful, steady. "Because," he said quietly, "your spirit called to mine. It is not strength or status that awakens a bond like this. It is truth, kindness, and a heart that stands firm even when the world gives it every reason to break." Lily felt the warmth spread through her chest again, stronger now, as if answering his words. "I do not know what to do with this," she whispered. "You do not have to know tonight," Aiden replied. "All you have to do is stay here with me until sunrise. When daylight comes, everything will become clearer." The breeze shifted, carrying the scent of pine and early dawn. Lily met his steady gaze, and for the first time she felt that dawn might bring answers she was no longer afraid to face. The first rays of dawn crept gently across the clearing, painting the earth in soft golds and pinks. The quiet of the night began to fade, replaced by the slow, peaceful sounds of the forest waking up. Lily stood beside Aiden, her gaze lost in the horizon as the sun began to rise, casting long shadows that stretched across the moss and leaves. The air around them felt charged, as if the world itself was holding its breath. She had never felt such stillness in all her life, but somehow, it did not make her feel small. Instead, it was as though she were part of something much larger, something ancient and eternal. She turned to Aiden, his presence beside her a calm, steady force. His silver eyes met hers, and in that quiet moment, everything she had questioned, every doubt she had held, began to slip away. "Is it time?" she asked softly, her voice almost lost in the soft hum of the morning. Aiden's gaze was unwavering. "It is," he said, his voice low and steady. "The bond between us is not something that can be rushed or forced. It exists in its own time, and now it is the moment for it to be fully realized." She took a breath, steadying herself. The weight of his words settled around her, but it wasn't heavy. It was the kind of weight that felt like responsibility, like destiny that had always been waiting just outside her reach. "What happens now?" she whispered, unsure of the future but no longer afraid of it. "Now," Aiden said, stepping a little closer, "we face what lies ahead together. The path is no longer mine alone, and it is no longer yours. We walk it side by side." Lily felt a quiet certainty stir in her chest, a warmth that started from the center of her heart and spread through her limbs. She had been walking alone for so long, caught in the quiet of her own thoughts and fears, but now, with Aiden beside her, It felt as though something had shifted. The world outside them was no longer a place that could break her. It was a place they could conquer together. "I'm not afraid anymore," she said softly, her voice steady and sure. Aiden reached out, his hand brushing gently against hers. The contact sent a familiar, soothing warmth through her body, like the first rays of sunlight on a cold morning. "You have never been afraid," he said, his voice a quiet certainty. "You only needed to remember who you are." His words stirred something deep inside her, something ancient, as though she had forgotten a part of herself that she was now ready to reclaim. Lily took a step closer to him, closing the distance between them. She didn't know what the future held, but she knew that, for the first time in a long time, she was not afraid to face it. Together, she looked up at him, meeting his steady gaze. "What happens when we leave this place?" she asked. Aiden smiled softly, the faintest curve of his lips. "We begin our journey," he said. "This is only the beginning, Lily. What lies ahead is not something you need to fear. It is something you are meant to embrace." The clearing around them seemed to shimmer in the first light of day, the shadows lifting and revealing the world in a way she had never seen before. With Aiden beside her, the weight of her past, the uncertainty she had carried for so long, felt lighter. She was not alone anymore. And for the first time, she believed that maybe, just maybe, everything would be okay. Together, they would face whatever came next. The forest had spoken its truth, and so had her heart. The journey ahead was no longer a question. It was a promise. And for Lily, that promise felt like home.